Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you are new. I am the stepson of Krypton,
And I'm Mantis.
and today we are bringing you a different video addressing more Booster Gold rumors. We have, I don't want to say, we never say, we don't have a definite, but we have a strong likelihood of who's going to be the next Booster Gold. So we thought we'd go ahead and do a video on it because we're definitely interested in getting your guys' opinions on it. Mantis, you're
It's
already
all but
shaking your head.
confirmed. It's all but
Yes,
confirmed.
all
That's what I was told.
confirmed. Sounds like people at my work when they just don't want to give answers. All but confirmed. But Mantis, if you're ready, I'm curious because you already shaking your head. Let's go ahead and get on into the video. All right, guys. So if you remember a past video, and I'll have it popping up on the screen down here below, we did about Booster Gold. There was two names in the running: Glenn Powell, who I thought would be an awesome Booster Gold, and Chris Pratt, who I actually think also would be awesome Booster Gold. Now we get, and we didn't do a video the last time we heard this rumor because at that time it was just a rumor. But I believe, Mantis, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the Blue Beetle actor, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. I will butcher that all to fucking hell.
Zebrik Kella.
Wait, that's Alex Trebek backwards. R.I.P. Alex Trebek, Family Guy, for those who don't get that reference.
Kebert Zella.
Only saying his name backwards can send him back to the fifth dimension where he belongs.
No, I just said that because his name, at least his first name, it begins with an X, and Maraduinia. That's I'm assuming that's his last name, Maraduinia. I don't know, but yes, the actor that plays Blue Beetle.
Yeah, did come out and say he confirmed that Kumail Nanjiani is going to be Booster Gold. Now, I've not seen any other, and there were a couple of sites, comic book, movie review, all that. They did post that, yes, the actor had said that. But, however, James Gunn has not come out and said it. It's not on IMDb anywhere. And I use IMDb. That's just me. Judge me if you want, but I use IMDb as the basis. Usually, once the actual announcement's made, it'll be on there within 12 hours. So I go off that, like, hey, this is confirmed. We see them that they're actually listed as credited to be on the movie. So this is twice now his name's come up, but this one's a little more rock solid. It is still kind of limp.
Well, nothing that you would call rock hard.
Actually, it's pretty limp, sir.
But Mantis, I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah. As you said, we had heard about this a while ago, but decided not to do one just because it was really speculative at the time. It's still kind of speculative, but maybe you get a little bit more ground on it to run away with. But I'm like you, like until I see it kind of posted, and as well James Gunn kind of debunking it. You never know. I think you brought up a good point because we'd done a previous video on Glenn Powell and Chris Pratt because Chris Pratt was on the set of Superman there in Cleveland, and we all were like, oh, he's just kind of getting in with James Gunn again. Maybe he's like kind of pitching him a character, and we were like, oh, it's got to be Booster Gold, right? But maybe now it's not. Maybe he was there for another character, which we don't know yet. But as you said, this a rumor has been picked up by several outlets, and for as far as Kumail being Booster Gold, I don't have necessarily a problem with it. It's what it is. It's the fact that you have other actors that fit the description of the character Booster Gold way better. It just makes no sense. Like if his acting skills and Glenn Powell's and Chris Pratt's acting skills are the same, then why would you not pick the actor that actually looks like the comic book character?
So
like that, I just don't understand that.
It's a very dangerous subject for us to get into because we get roasted because we're straight white men, so we are a Quincy Ultra, we are White Devils.
I couldn't help but notice that Equinsu Orcha part.
Did you just refer to me as White Devil? This how they know you. Leave that part out from now on.
Just by the nature of it. But the thing is, like, my only prerequisite for the look is he's got to have blonde hair, right? That's Booster. He's got blonde hair. That's just what he's known for. Like, that's one of his iconic things. So if Kumail's willing to dye his hair blonde, his race, it doesn't impact me, because also, as much as I do love Booster, Booster's not going to be a focus point in, he's not one of the main characters of DC, right? It's not like your Supermans and your Batmans that we want to see more comic book accurate. He is kind of he's going to be a behind the scenes because he's got his own series, and he'll probably have some tie-ins to the movies. But
let me ask you this. Not necessarily his powers or anything, but like kind of his character, the way he acts. Is he kind of like DCU's version of Deadpool to an extent?
No, he's not like at all like Deadpool. He's very cocky, right? He thinks he's the greatest superhero. I'll say,
well, then there's not really.
So here's the one thing. So I only really know Kumail from two different forms of media, and that is Eternals, obviously, which I think in Eternals he does portray kind of a Booster Gold.
Bad.
Like he was the Hollywood guy, and he thought he was so cool, and he was the shit, right? Which is Booster, right? Like, so okay, I'm like, that's okay. And he was a little sarcastic, but then I know him from 6 seasons of Silicon Valley, which, if you haven't seen that, that's on Max. That's a great series, but he is definitely not Booster in that series. Now, it is unfair. I'm not judging an actor based off of one series, because obviously if they're a good actor, they can do a multitude of different type of roles. But, part of it in your head, you're thinking of, okay, what I've seen him in, can I see him playing Booster? Yes, but I think there are better people to play him. Not just that are going to give a comic book accurate look, but that could play the cocky, smart ass, kind of like full of himself, kind of like, again, Glenn Powell did in Top Gun Maverick.
Hey, Hangman, you look good. I am good, Rooster. I'm very good.
But again, Kumail did a pretty good job in Eternals playing a similar type of mindset. So I'm willing to give a shot. He's just got to dye his hair blonde for me.
Like I said, I'm not one. Okay, look, I'm not a acting coach or someone that is in the position to judge actors on, oh, he delivered that line this perfectly, and this is why, the actual school behind it, the actual reasons why that's good. Like, I have no idea. I'm the furthest from to be able to judge that. So for me to say, oh, he's not as good as actor, or Glenn Powell's a better actor than him, or Chris Pratt, I have no idea. Maybe he is a better actor than them. My only thought about it, like I said before, is if they're all equal in their acting prowess or the ability to play that character in the acting portion of it, why wouldn't you pick someone that fits that role without having to, I don't know, dye their hair gold or, I'm not. Let's just call it out. Like he's Pakistani, so his skin is darker. Booster Gold looks like, what did you say? He looked like the poster child of the Aryan fucking race.
He was an Aryan propaganda poster.
Yeah.
And please don't roast me in the comments for that. I was just, that's actually funny. That's actually a joke though from another show that I'll cut in here just so it doesn't make me look like a complete asshole.
Just look at him. He looks like a Nazi propaganda poster.
But
but it's funny.
It is, but
I'm not saying it's.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying it's he's the next coming of the Third Reich here. I'm just saying he is like the character Booster Gold is a white dude with blonde hair. Like you were saying, like you think a German dude, pale white motherfucker with blonde hair, blue eyes, right? Like that's what you think of. Like I don't think of a Pakistani dude with jet black hair. I'm not saying jet black hair or brown dudes are bad or that white dudes with blonde hair are good. I'm just saying when I'm looking at the character and what he looks like in the comics, that's not what he looks like. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying if their acting abilities are the same to do the role, explain to me why you would take Kumail over another actor that fits the role. Maybe it's because he is better at it. Maybe he tested and it was awesome. I don't know. I have no idea.
Here's another thought too. What if
What if, and believe me, this is so hypothetical.
James Gunn already has Chris Pratt for another role, and maybe he has Glenn Powell for another role, right? So of the three, and I'm not saying they're the only three in the running, right? But they were the three that have been mentioned that could play that character. But what if, because we know Glenn Powell wants to play the Dark Knight, and Chris Pratt, I feel like, could step into several different roles. As like, I think Chris Pratt would actually do a great Hal Jordan as well. Chris Pratt could step into several different roles, so maybe he already had him eyed for another role. And then, you know, Kumail is obviously, he's funny. Kumail does stand up. He is a funny guy. Yeah. Like, so then they're like, and again, I'm not saying, oh, Kumail was the third choice. I'm just saying maybe like he already had in mind these two people for these other roles, and Kumail is a great choice to go into there, right? Again, I do love Booster Gold. I would love to see him depicted comic book accurate, but it's not going to make or break it for me just because of the fact that I truly believe, at least on this one, guys, and you can roast me in the comments if you want to, but I truly believe, I don't think this is a race swap thing. I feel like
I don't either.
I feel like he fits a lot of the boxes. Maybe he isn't comic book accurate. Maybe he's willing to dye his hair. Or maybe they go a different route. They don't even dye his hair. I would like to at least see the blonde hair. It's what I'm used to saying on it. But so I feel like he ticks a lot of the other boxes that they're like, hey, let's go with it. I honestly, I don't believe this is a race swap.
I would agree. I don't think that that's what's going on here either. And I don't like I said, he could have killed it in their test screening or the read or whatever they did to audition for, maybe he fucking nailed it. I mean, we don't know. And alternatively, you mentioned this comic book accurate, because I heard this in another channel. I mean, I mention this all the time. Like, I watch Nerdrotic all the time, and he said something a couple videos ago that I really, because people like to quote the whole canon thing, like, well, it's not canon. And he said something that made real sense. And it's like, just because it's comic book accurate doesn't make it good. Something could be comic book accurate and be fucking terrible.
So the other thing is too, and this is that thing that I think myself I can speak to. I think sometimes we lose sight of, and I feel like there are people who comment on our videos that I don't. I want to say they lose sight of it too, but I think we're all kind of, or at least most of us are kind of guilty of it. Is that, especially for some of these characters, they've existed so long in the comics that, you change with the times, right? So what I consider canon, or if I'm going by like right now, 30 years ago, that's not how it was. Or if I'm being the older one, and I know people get on me that I'm not old, I'm 41 years old, but, I look at some of the older stuff, and then other people want to argue, well, okay, yeah, that was 40 years ago, or even 50 or 60. Now it's this way, right? I think you have to take that into account, that, the comics change over time, right? Now,
they do.
Booster necessarily hasn't changed like that. Yeah, and some go great, some don't. But that's the thing with comics, right? They're trying to ride the wave, and sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't take away from the idea of us getting this character, right? Could he be comic book accurate? Absolutely. But I'd still love to see it, as long as the writing and the series is done well. I still love to see Booster come to a series. So
yeah, and I think for me, again, I'm not a huge Booster Gold fan. I'm not, and it's just because I don't really know the character. And for me, that's kind of why I'm like, and I maybe we kind of agree on this aspect of it. It's like, since I don't really have much I don't have an attachment to the character, that some of the changes wouldn't really be that big a deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's different changing Superman than changing Booster Gold or changing,
absolutely,
someone else. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. And that's on an individual basis, based on when you started watching it or when you were born. Like, people born 10 years ago may not give a two shits about, or even 20 years ago may not give two shits about Superman, because they didn't grow up watching Christopher Reeve. They didn't. All they know is either Smallville or some crappy WB show here and there. And there's one good one, but it just depends. And I think this could be a case where you're not going to see much blowback on that from the normies, because they don't know who the hell Booster Gold is.
Well, and if this is their first exposure to Booster, right? Let's say it is Kumail. right? Then if they decide, because at least as a fan for me, the hope is that when people are watching these that aren't fans of like the comic books and the animated, all the stuff that's come before that has led up to the movies, my hope is that you go start reading the comics, go watching these animated series, so you get more information, right? Get you invested in these characters, get you as excited as we are about it, right? So I think like if you see Kumail as Booster and then you go read the comics and you watch I would say one, but then somebody did comment in the comments on one of our Booster videos that did say he does appear very briefly, not in the suit, in a another series for like one episode, which thank you for that. I was not aware of that because I hadn't made it. I have not still to this day made it that far in the series. So he does appear a couple times, but I think if they go back and they look at that, they're not going to say, well, that's not like, because Kumail would be their first experience of Booster, right? Then they're not going to really care about the origins of him being comic book accurate. It's more of the diehard fans, but I feel like, again, as long as the character's written well and the show's done well, that can't be your big hang up. Again, with a character like Booster. And don't get me wrong, I still love Booster. I love Booster. That's why he's tattooed on my fucking body, right? Love Booster, but that's not going to be a make or break for me. It'd be great.
Yeah, as we said, I mean, as we've seen here recently with Deadpool and Wolverine, it's like, I've said it before, it's like the writing in that movie, there's really no substance of the story. You said it too. It's like where we started is where we ended up. That nothing happened, but it didn't matter because the movie was great. There's a lot of fun going on. I think if the story is good in this, I think people are going to look past it. Most people will look past it. You're going to have your die-hard comic book fans, no matter what they do. If they cast Kumail in this, again, it's still rumors. If they do, if James Gunn does go ahead with that, there will be people that will die on that hill because of what he looks like. And it will be an issue. They will not go see it. They'll make 10 videos about it and why it's terrible and all this nonsense, right? And who knows? Maybe that is the case. Maybe it ends up being bad. But part of me thinks it's not going to be because of his casting. Again, we said before, he's not a bad actor. That's not going to be the reason I don't think this does well. If that's the case. So I don't know. It's going to be a shitstorm either way, if they pick him. And I don't know. My opinion again is if he is, I'd like to know why they picked him over some other actors. Everything else being equal, obviously. And hopefully it does well. Again, I don't care. I just want to see good comic book movies or good superhero movies. I don't care who's in it. What's going on? I just want it to be good. That's really all I care about. I'm tired. You know what it is? I'm just tired of having to bitch about it. That's really what it is. I just want to, a new superhero movie's going out and I want to go see it and know that it's going to be good.
Ryan Reynolds said something. I'll cut the clip in here. After all this, since Deadpool and Wolverine's release, he did a quick, at least I'm 99% sure after Deadpool Wolverine release, but he said, the one thing that hurts movies is money and time, right? Is when you think you can just throw money at a problem and then it's going to go away, where you lose characters, right? There's not substance to the story because you just threw a bunch of money at it and you made it look real cool. And he's like, people don't remember effects. They remember lines. They remember characters, right? That's what draws you to it. Now, as Mantis has pointed out in several videos, you do remember bad effects, right? That can hurt your movie. But, if you're throwing a shit ton of money at it, the idea is like, if you're like Disney, you're throwing a shit ton of money at it, you're having good special effects for the most part,
Films that I've been on they have a lot of money and you kind of keep throwing more money at a problem when your real problem is that you are focused on spectacle over character. I'm trying to speak really quickly because god damn it.
No, I get it. I get it.
And when you focus on spectacle as opposed to character, audiences I think are a little inured to spectacle. I feel like the CGI effects and those kinds of things aren't what actually sustain an audience after a movie comes out.
A couple little things here, but usually they are. But are you losing character and are you losing substance and story, right? That's what people are going to be attached to. That's what's going to make people love the character is the story. So as long as you maintain that, I feel like the rest of that isn't going to matter, right? Like people, most of the people, again, your audience, because when we talk about the DC, there's a core audience, and then you start narrowing down on characters, the audience shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. So the audience for Booster is nowhere near the audience for Batman or Superman, right? So I feel like, again, Mantis is 100% right. There are those people that are going to die on that hill, but again, you have to, as much as it kind of sucks, you have to appease the masses, right? You got to make something that works for the masses, because they're your audience, right? If the movie isn't doing super successfully, guess what? Or the TV show, in the case of Booster, it's fucking canceled. It's done. Right, that's the whole. That's why the DCU ended, is because it wasn't producing the numbers, so it's not a good fiscal decision for them to go and keep putting money into this. That's why Marvel's making their drastic changes. So these have to be successful, right? That's the thing, is I'm willing to give up certain things that aren't necessarily comic book accurate to have a good, as long as it's got good story and good characters, so it can be successful, so we can get our goddamn Doomsdays and Darkseids on the screen.
I know. It's like,
I'm to see him Lex Luthor as the villain. Like, okay, I get it. I want to see the cool stuff.
I know. Why can't Doomsday be like one of the early characters, like in the storyline? Why does it have to be we start out? You know what I mean? Like, no one ever just goes right to the end boss. You can't blow the magic whistle in Mario 3. Like why do we have to do all of these stupid like bad guys and things at the beginning before we see Megazord? I want to go straight to the end. The first movie, we're fighting Darkseid. Let's do it. Like, I'm here for it.
You can't fucking do that. You got to fight the putties, right? Then they got to send out the monster. He's got to kick your ass. The monster's got to grow. Then you got to bring out the Zords, destroy the fucking city before you call down the ultra powerful artillery. That is the script, right? You have to do that. You cannot just, like, dude, even when the monster's this small and powerful, just call down the Megazord, stomp on him, boom, game over, right? No, can't do that. That city would be fucking bankrupt. Like, dude, all the property. Going off a rant. Sorry, he started it. He brought up Power Rangers, but that's the thing, right? Like, so I'm willing to forgo certain little nuances, like let these little things slide. And I know there are some people who say, the comic book actress, the look of the character is not little thing. I'm willing to, just because I want to see Booster come to the screen. I want to believe they're going to make the right decisions again, whether it be Kumail, whether it be Glenn Powell.
Good. If you tell me it's going to be good, I'll sacrifice those things. Like, I just don't want it to be like
he
again,
has to be like Booster is.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
How he acts.
Yeah. Yep. And again, like we said, this is going to be different for everyone. There are going to be those people that die on the hill. There's going to be people that are like, I'm like I said, I'm kind of like in that area where I don't really care about the character as much. So if you have to circumvent some things to make the story good and make the film good, which they do on film all the time. This is not a comic book thing. This is a movie thing. There are plenty of movies. You see this when movies are adapted from books. Like, it's not the same thing that's from the book because it doesn't make sense to do it on the screen. It won't ever work. So we sacrifice those things. Well, the movie's not as good as... Well, of course it's not. Because you can't do certain things from a book into a movie. Same thing with a comic book. I'm fine with it. It's cool. I just want it to be good. That's my ending thought on it.
This is my ending, man. It's gonna be super quick on this. Is I am okay with this one, even though I do love Booster. I want him to have blonde hair though. But we said it earlier in the video. Because I truly believe if they go with this route, it is not a race swapping decision. It's not just so they have a Pakistani person playing the role. That is my belief. You guys let me know down below if you agree. You can do so without being a dick. Like, you can just say, hey, no, I don't agree with that. But hey, free speech. You do whatever you want. So I'm just saying you don't have to be a dick. Do your thing. But I truly believe that if they go this route, it is not a race swap decision. Is because he is a funny person. He does have that arrogant thing like he did in Eternals. So I feel like he could and should be in the running. And again, maybe he, like Mantis said, maybe he tested well. But I honestly, that's my belief. I don't think that's why they're doing it. They're not just swapping out races. So I'll let that be my end of my final thought there. Give me another drink. All right, feel free to just completely not say anything while I'm drinking this. So now I got to cut that out. Thanks, there, Mantis.
Well, I figured you want to cut out your drinking.
No, I wanted that in there. So like, it's been that kind of a day.
Sorry.
I'm gonna cut all this now. It's fucked. It's fine.
Thank you guys for joining us.
We got Mantis with the awkward fucking pauses, silences again. So
it's got to be in every other one.
Now, guys, if you have made it through all of our insanity, such as this last part here, I'm not sure if I'm going to leave in, consider giving this video a like. He is going to show you where. You're getting less and less creative with that, right? Like, I made it dance on the one, but it's always up or at your crotch. But that's fine.
Look. If I put it anywhere else, you bitch. Well, how am I going to put it over above my face?
You can put it over that way. You just can't go that way because it'd just be off the screen. I can't do anything. Fucking dick. Consider subscribing to the right there. Well, it's already too late. We already did that because I'm not going to put it up multiple times. Consider subscribing to the channel so you do not miss out on our insanity, as well as there's so much.
Sorry.
Now I'm gonna have to cut the Jim Carrey scene in there and Ace Ventura when he's doing the little fucking puppets.
Call him Gaji.
Consider subscribing to the channel. Silver, away.
Yeah.
Sorry, ADD. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our ADD here. And then clicking the bell notification. I know it's annoying, but this is also why we put this at the end here so we don't bombard you with this shit.
You're probably not watching it anyway.
Yeah, well, we're probably speaking to one person here and all that stuff. But for those of you who are subscribed, we definitely appreciate you, both new and people who have been with us since the beginning. So we thank you guys. You guys are the reason we do this. Even after long, shitty days at work, we still actually have the energy to do this channel because of you guys. So we thank you for that. And, Mantis, unless you have anything else.
No.
We're going to wrap this episode, review me and DC. Until next time, guys, we will see you then.
Later.